Blue Chip will be selling an exceptional selection of 79 yearlings this fall. Blue Chip Farms, bred in New York to take on the world.
Hi, I'm John Pavlak, and welcome to Ion Harness Racing. It's the big one at the Meadowlands, the Hambletonian. And this week, we have a catch driver, TJ Burkett, who will bring us reports from the Meadowlands. TJ?
Thanks, John. I'm TJ Burkett here at the Meadowlands Racetrack in East Rutherford, New Jersey, where the sport has turned its attention towards the $1.5 million Hamiltonian final, in which the survivors of last week's eliminations will vie for a spot in harness racing history. Earlier this week, the connections of the 10 hopefuls gathered here for the post-position draw and press luncheon, which gave us an opportunity to speak with some of them, including trainer Greg Peck, who sends out 3 to 5 favorite Muscle Hill for post-position 1.
He does what you have to do, and it would be unfair for me to him to not say anything else but he's a champion and he's a great horse, and frankly, Ken, I hope he wins it. He deserves to win it. He's really, every time he goes out and races, he astonishes me.
Muscle Hill's going to want to try to control the race. We need to make sure that we don't let that happen. We think there's a lot of horses with speed over here that could have something to say about that. And that's why, you can't cash the ticket until the race is over. I think that we like our post. We certainly like our chances over here.
Well, he's really tough. He went a real tough trip the other night on the outside. He can go a long way. He'll follow another horse forever. I think that puts him in a good place. He drew well.
Here is Saturday's Hambletonian draw. Don't forget, you can download the free past performance program courtesy of the U.S. Trotting Association and Trackmaster. The USTA web newsroom will offer complete race-by-race coverage tomorrow, posting stories right after the official sign is posted, and we will also post exclusive video content of Saturday's Hambletonian final. This past weekend, Well Said went into the $677,000 Delvin Miller Adios final as the heavy favorite, and he sped to the lead just past the half-mile pole. The sport's top-rated pacer, however, saw his competition coming as the field turned for home. Dan Dubé, driver of winner Vintage Master and winning trainer Jimmy Tactor, answered questions from our John Pavlak in the winner's circle following the upset.
On the first turn, I was locked and I can't wait to get a room, And finally, when I could put him on the floor and tip him to a wide, he just do what he has to do.
Tell us a little bit about this late bloomer, if that's what he is.
Well, he's a really tough horse, and he keep on getting better and better, and he's a lovely horse. I'm really proud to have this horse.
Adios Day began with a special ceremony at which a Pennsylvania roadside historical marker dedicated to the late Delvin Miller was unveiled. Appropriately, the plaque was erected just steps away from the statue of Miller's great pacing stallion, Adios. In a moment, we'll take a look at some of this week's top stories.
Harness racing and standard-bred horses come to life each month in the colorful pages of Hoof Beats, the sport's most widely read magazine. We call it Reporting with Horsepower. Don't miss a single issue. Subscribe online today.
A first prize of $25,000 was on the line at Tioga Downs this past Sunday, where Jason Bartlett won the Tioga Drivers Challenge against some of the best drivers in the business. Bartlett finished ahead of Ron Pierce and David Miller in the final standings. I'm here high above the track in the Pegasus Room, and speaking of tracks, the Ohio Supreme Court has ruled that enough valid signatures have been collected, which means Ohio voters will say whether or not they want full-service casinos in Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, and Toledo. If passed, the casinos will provide competition to Ohio's racinos, recently authorized by a vote of Ohio's elected officials. The first of what may be several challenges to racinos in Ohio was recently dismissed by the state's Attorney General, who ruled that putting the question of whether racinos should be legalized on the ballot in November was without merit. Those who followed the sport around the 1980s still fondly remember race calls by Jack E. Lee, broadcast from Roosevelt Raceway, coast to coast on WOR-TV.
Ralph either inside the 16th pole, and Ralph Hanover is going to win the Messenger Stakes.
Lee's mellifluous voice was stilled last Thursday when he died peacefully in his Florida retirement home at age 73. Our condolences go out to his family and his many friends. Once again, we're here at the Meadowlands for the 84th renewal of the Hamiltonian, trotting's most coveted prize. 20 years ago, the Hamiltonian Society didn't know to whom to give the Hamiltonian trophy. Two horses, Probe and Park Avenue Joe, had worked their way through the heats and into a memorable race-off.
Let's drive to the wire. Park Avenue Joe, Probe, here's the finish. Too close to call.
The result was the only dead heat in a deciding heat of the Hamiltonian. It was determined that because both horses had won 2 heats, both should be declared winners of the Trotting Classic. Next week on Ion Harness Racing, we'll bring you more on the Hamiltonian and the other rich Grand Circuit stakes from here at the Big M. In the meantime, visit ustrotting.com for complete Hamiltonian coverage, including exclusive video. John Pavlak will return next week as your regular host, and we will also return to our regular time slot, Thursday at 3 p.m. And remember to send your questions to us via email at i@ustrotting.com. I'm TJ Burkett, and thank you for watching Ion Harness Racing from the Meadowlands.